Well, if you love motorcycles and you go to rallies, I'm telling you, this is going to be a book that you are definitely going to want to read. I want to introduce you to my next guest, JJ Spain. He wrote Last Night in Sturgis. And first of all, welcome, JJ. Glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, we can't wait to hear more about your this particular book, Last Night in Sturgis. Although
Yeah.
you have many books that you're writing about motorcycles and your experience at different events, I want you to tell us first of all the overall message of this book.
Well, I've always just messed around with writing and teasing myself about thinking I could be an author. And I sat down one day and just kind of was challenged by somebody and just wrote out a book. I'm an avid reader, so I kind of took some ideas that some of my favorite authors and created this book. And in it, it's a little bit of a Sturgis, South Dakota rally, kind of a travel guide. So I wanted people to get that feel of what Sturgis is within the book, and also have a murder mystery type thing, because that's what always has intrigued me. So I kind of blended the two together. And so the people that have been to Sturgis before are going to recognize the sights and sounds and the reality of the rally, and then hopefully be entertained with the characters that we've created within the book. And so the overall message, there's a little bit of a brotherhood in there and a development of a maturation of the character, and that goes on within the next books. But also, the main character gets the bug for a motorcycle. And that's what I wanted him to experience. Once he got there, he came back to his hometown and said, I got to buy a motorcycle. And that's what happened to me. The first time I went to Sturgis was by accident with my son, who is 4 years old. And I'd always known about the rally because I lived in a town where the bikers drive through my town and they go up there, but I didn't realize how big it was. Yeah. And so I guess that's the overall idea of it. So
I love the fact that, you've got a fiction book wrapped up with, well, you definitely want to hit this area. You want to see, Deadwood. You've got to make sure to see the Badlands and things like that are built in.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the travel guide part of it. And I've been there. This will be my 28th year this year. I know it inside and out, and I'm close to it. So I go up to the Rapid City area all the time, once a month. And I love to ride the hills, the Black Hills, Spearfish Canyon. I know the rides everywhere. And so bringing that together in a story, I think it just makes it, if you've been there, you know, hey, I've been there. That's a great bar. I've been to that bar. I've been to that campsite. I've done that ride. That's what I wanted to get out of it.
So I want you to paint a picture for us. Look, the Badlands, that Black Hills is just so beautiful. I want you to paint a picture of what Sturgis Rally itself is like, if you can. Put us in that theater.
Well, first thing to remember, I've been to Daytona and Laconia and Vegas and Laughlin. They're way bigger cities. You go to Rapid City, South Dakota, which is the main town, but Sturgis is 25 miles west. Sturgis is a town of 6,500 people, maybe 6,000 people, and Rapid City is under 50. And then you've got this whole massive territory that goes into Nebraska, it goes into Montana, it goes into Wyoming, and everybody comes to this rally. And I can throw out numbers, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. At the 75th rally, what this book is based off of, there was over 1 million motorcyclists in a town of 6,500 people. So you couldn't walk down the main street of Sturgis without bumping in. You're just shoulder to shoulder. The bikes are jammed everywhere packed. To go 5 miles through town, it might have taken you an hour and a half. Basically, I'm riding my bike through town. I'm burning my clutch up. I just turn my bike off and I just walk it. And everybody else was doing the same thing. It was just, there's so many people there to experience. And I think the biggest thing out of it, what I love about Sturgis is a couple of things. One, it's the only game in town. I went to Daytona Bike Week, and there's people playing golf. There's people on the beach. There's people just messing around that just live there, But at Sturgis, it's just bikers during that week, and it's all calibers of income. You've got guys that have a multi-million-dollar RV pulling a trailer with 10 bikes, and the bikes are like show bikes, $60,000, $70,000 show bikes. And then right next to him, you got a guy sleeping in a $10 Walmart tent, and he saved up all year to get his money to go to the rally and slept in a tent. And that's what I love about it. All brands of people. You mean a lot of people don't even have a bike. They just drive up in their car and they've got leather jackets on and leather chaps and their leather gloves. They're dressed in the part, but they can't afford a motorcycle. So they just come up and experience the rally.
That is unreal. I mean, the camaraderie is that you painted is tremendous. I mean, where everybody can get along and respect each other no matter what level they're at, you know?
Yeah, and that that's one thing about the biker experience is, you ride down the highway, bikers are waving at each other because they
Mhm.
know, there's a T-shirt that says, if I have to explain it, you won't understand, and that's kind of how the motorcycle rally
That's
is.
awesome.
And just when I got into I rode bikes in high school and in junior high, and messed around with racing and stuff like that, and then got into a Harley. I just had a wild hair. A buddy of mine took me to Grand Island, Nebraska. I went and I bought a bike, and I rode it home that day. Excuse me. And I get home and I didn't tell my wife I was buying a bike. I got forgiveness, not permission.
Right.
But when I rolled in the house, and my wife sees the bike and she comes outside, and I could tell she was hot. She was mad. And then my son comes out and he goes, "Dad, we're going to Sturgis." He jumps in my arms. And so my wife is like, "You got it. Don't worry about it." So my son's been with me on my 28 trips. He's been with me probably 25 of them. I took him as a little 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. And that's how I got there. We were at home one day and 28 years ago, and he comes in the living room and goes, "Dad, Hulk Hogan's going to be in Sturgis and it's going to be free. We got to go see Hulk Hogan." And so put him in the Nissan Pathfinder. We drive to Sturgis. And that's why we first went, was to see Hulk Hogan.
And those memories that you've made, I mean, that's been such a bonding time for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some people aren't going to give me the Dad of the Year award taking my son to Sturgis, right? Especially when he's in junior high and he's impressionable. And some of my buddies that were there were taking him out on the town. And so yeah, some of those things, I made some bad decisions when I look back at it. But
you know what? If you're a parent, we've all made bad decisions.
Yeah.
And
my son's very stable. He doesn't have an alcohol problem. He doesn't have any problem. He's married. He's got a great wife. Everything's doing good. He works hard. But he lives in St. Louis. He drives to get me, and then we ride up to Sturgis every year. So.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit more about the characters in the book. You are part of the main character, would you say?
Well, I've had people ask that before. I think all your characters you base off somebody you see.
Yeah.
I got the name from somebody else. I met a guy named Mike Salas, and I thought, that's a cool name. At the time, I was thinking about writing a book, and that sounds like a detective. I didn't tell him that. I kept the name in my pocket, right? And I haven't seen the guy in 20 years. Right. I probably wouldn't even recognize him. And so some of the characters based on him, he was a big guy, bald head, big arms, muscular guy. And so some of that was off of that guy. And then the other main character is RJ. And if you look at the book, RJ doesn't have a last name. I haven't given him a last name yet. I'm going on my fourth book, and I haven't given RJ a last name yet. But my best buddy that I went to Sturgis with year after year, his name was RJ. And he was the toughest, badass guy I knew in my life. And I would go anywhere with him because I knew I was protected. And he got me in some trouble in Sturgis. My son, he was fine. I'd hang out with my son for a couple of days, and he'd go home with mom. And then I'd hang out with my buddies. And RJ always got me in trouble. And RJ passed away a while back, and from a leukemia thing. But I based in that character off of an actual one of my best friends. So I would say that, yeah.
Wow, what a great way to honor him.
Yeah.
So what is the main takeaway? What do you want people to know about your book? What are you hoping they'll feel or think after they get done reading this?
I want them to like it. Everybody, you put your heart out there. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in sales. I'm used to getting neglected or told
rejected.
No, rejected.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal. But I got some book reviews back. Some of them were bad, and some of them most of them were good. The guys that didn't like it, I didn't. Why would you buy this book? You're not going to like it. You don't.
Right.
You've never rode a motorcycle.
Right.
But the guy that rides a bike, I think, will like it. And the girl, the ladies. I have a lady that's a main character as well. That rides her own bike, and actually her boyfriend rides in the back with her because from a couple I know. But I want them to be entertained. I want them to like it. I want them to read the next book. I want them to be intrigued. You know what? I want to read that. I want to read another one. I like your characters. They're in all of them going on. I got a master plan for the whole thing that you do when you first start out, of how they evolve and what's going to happen at the very end.
That's awesome.
And I want them to be entertained. I want them to enjoy it. If they like it, give me a good review. If you don't like it, just don't say nothing.
Sounds good to us. JJ Spain, last night in Sturgis. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.